Welcome to the B2T show, where we empower Christian patriots with truth. This is Rick, your host. All right, it is Wednesday, September 23rd, and we have a packed show for you today. It is the 800-pound Soros. So, wow. Oh, look at that. There's my other texting window that got closed I was looking for before. Let me see where we've got. Yeah, I got two of them open now, so let me close that. But hey, how fun this is. We've got news talk being so obvious. The MSM completely trying to get you not to understand about George, S-O-R-S, right? So we're going to be digging into that in a little bit more and show that how they're hiding that and get into what he's really funding. Even some WikiLeaks emails and a lot of Q posts that just happened, as well as getting into some fun things around sharing truth with impact. Which the cart closes today, by the way. So if you see that thing above my head that says the cart open, it closes tonight. So make sure you get over there and check that out. We're excited. That's really a couple $1,000 program for less than $100. We've discounted that down because we want the masses to be in it, and we got a lot of people all starting up. Yeah, Amy Mercia says MSM unhinged. That's exactly right. Let me just acknowledge some people are on. Let me know where you are from. I see Mr. Reconstruction was on Colorado in the house, he says. Diane Sullivan as a moderator, and she's Colorado. We got New York JM, Australia, Monica. All right. We got when's kickoff, says Speedy Steve, right now. So sorry about being a little bit late. I have a couple of things that I clean up for the every twice a month maids that come in, and my wife has, just because she works so long, and I have to dismantle everything, and I have to put it all back together, and I didn't have my speaker working, I didn't have my backstage camera going for the backstagers, so now everything's up and running and we are good. California Q Girl is in as a moderator as well. Thank you so much. Obviously from California. Let's look down at the bottom, see where everybody's going. Colorado, Texas, Canada says Japan here. Donald from Japan. I love it. Hawaii. We got hashtag love from Waikiki, Hawaii. Patriotville, California. We got Alogal. Louisiana, Minnesota, Texas, North Carolina, Tennessee, East Texas, Brooklyn, North Carolina, Virginia. Thank you guys so much for all being here. And a ton of other people that are coming. People are saying, fill that seat. That's right. Oklahoma's in the house as well. Let's get going. Here we look at the new Q drops, and there's a lot of them here. I'm going to refresh real quick to see if we've had anything in the last few minutes. Look like there hasn't been, but we got like, I think 8 or 9 drops on the 23rd. And so we will be digging into those in just a second. I did want to talk a little bit about security, though. There's another breach happened. You guys hear about all these breaches that are happening, right? So there was the last one on the 22nd, which was 4741, and we'll start digging into those in a second. And look at this here, though. I did want to let you know the breaking news is that there was 2 cops shot in Louisville, where they had, I guess, only indicted one person on, and none of them were for murder, for Brianna's death there. But let's look at listen to this video.
Here they come. Oh, they shot guns at him. Oh shit! They shooting guns at him, real guns. Shit.
So there's people running that was when the firing started, and this is Charlie Kirk saying, are the cop killers in Louisville still just part of a peaceful protest at Joe Biden? So a lot of crazy stuff going on there, and as you know, with the cops not being indicted for murder, despite the facts, everybody, this is what the mainstream media wants, is to separate us and cause us all kinds of problems. But when it comes to security, look at this breach, Experian breach in South Africa. So it's kind of scary when you start looking at this. The Consumer Credit Reporting Agency, Experian, has just experienced a recent data breach that had revealed the information of 24 million individuals and 800,000 businesses, exposing them to future phishing attempts. This should be a highlight to us all how important it is to take our online identities seriously. And the best way to do that is through the use of a VPN. A VPN helps safeguard your information so businesses and websites are less likely to use your information against you. The VPN I use is Virtual Shield, and I keep it on 24/7 while I'm browsing online. Virtual Shield has a strict no-log policy. Plus, it was built from the ground up specifically for privacy protection. Not to make a profit off your data, Virtual Shield believes you have the right to remain private. Due to the recent pandemic, Virtual Shield is offering services at 50% off to help customers in need to protect themselves, as well as a free 30-day trial. Now go to virtualshield.com/blessed. Again, that's virtualshield.com/blessed, or click on the video link below here in the YouTube video. Again, that's virtualshield.com/blessed. You'll see it right here where you click right here where it says start now for free. And this is the best deal you can get. If you do 2 years in advance, it's actually only $250 a month on average, and you get the 30 free days. Usually that's been separate, where you do start for 30 days, you don't get this special deal. So now you get both of them together. So this is a great time if you haven't joined Virtual Shield to do that now. All right, let's get down to business with the Q drops. Again, the last post we saw was on September 22nd, where it was 47.41. It says it says past 7 days, and this is the list of all the last 7 days of where you have Q being really attacked, right? So this is Nancy Pelosi wonders how top Facebook employees can look themselves in the mirror because they make money off of poison, and the poison is QAnon. So now when they start using the top political operative to attack QAnon, they are going for broke. This is like only a little over a month out for the election, so they are going to try to take out QAnon, is what I believe, and it's interesting. So this attack literally is focused on QAnon. If you go back and look at this in a little more detail, I'm gonna blow it up for a little bit so you guys can see it more. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi on Monday blasted Facebook executives and employees as totally disruptible over the prevalence of posts touting the right-wing conspiracy theory movement QAnon. Pelosi made the comments in an interview with Kara Swisher in the first episode of STWI, Swisher's new podcast in the New York Times. In the interview, Swisher brought up QAnon, the far-right conspiracy theory movement. So it's kind of funny because they try to take this out as a far-right thing when there's plenty of people that aren't far-right at all. There's people that just are thinking for themselves, right? And the movement here is based on the people from all different party lines from the past. They just are understanding that the cabal is now controlling the left leadership. While QAnon is said to have originated an anonymous online message board, 4chan, in recent months the posts have become more widespread in mainstream social media sites like Twitter and Facebook. Both companies have announced plans to crack down on QAnon accounts. So that's what we're having to do. We're trying to clean up these accounts to make sure that we can continue to do what Q talks about, get people to think for themselves, but don't do as much association back with Q. Instead of talking about QAnon as much, talk about just the facts of all this D-class and everything else that's coming out. All for a LARP, Amy says. That's exactly right. All for a LARP. And so this 12, this one that they posted yesterday on 9/22, heard the drop. That was the Business Insider article. And then the last 7 days, this is a Bing search, and it just shows you the last 7 days of article after article after article of hit pieces on QAnon. So here is QAnon enters Illinois political voters, 2 U.S. House districts take note. Why are so many women falling for the QAnon conspiracy theory? So remember, conspiracy theory is that 1967 invented term as a psyop to control you. They didn't want anybody to believe anybody that didn't believe the Warren Commission report. Warren Commission report was primarily run by Alan Dulles, who had been fired by JFK himself. So Alan Dulles was most likely worked with many of the groups that actually executed on the execution of John F. Kennedy and the assassination. Then they're the ones that are actually reporting on it. So after 50 years, we get a bunch more stuff that Trump declassified the last couple of years. It shows he was shot to the neck. All the theories that they had were absolutely wrong. We know that it was a complete psyop using the word conspiracy theory, and they still use it today, 50 years later. They are using the word conspiracy theory to get you to not look at the things that they know are true that they want to hide. So whenever you see that, that's something you should go look at. The Republican Party is weaponizing QAnon against Democrats in attacks, ads, accusing politicians of supporting blah, 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 blah. Here's the QAnon orphans, people who have lost loved ones to conspiracy theories. Oh, wow. So now they've lost loved ones. We're not going to talk about all the riots and the killings and the fact that they're shooting cops. And they killed somebody in Portland, and they destroyed black businesses and killed a black policeman. Several lives have been lost, but those lives don't matter. The only lives that matter are the ones that can be used for political gain of the cabal. Those are the only lives that Black Lives really care about. Like Black Lives Matter really cares about, is the ones that can malign the cops and try to defund the cops so they can create chaos. And let the brown shirts, Antifa and BLM, like stormtroopers and brown shirts, they did the same thing. In the Nazi land, right? In Nazi days, in Germany, back then they defunded the police, they disrupted elections with violence from the brown shirt / stormtroopers. Now we have Antifa and BLM, who they don't care about any lives except for the lives that can create political gain and disruption. Facebook tried cracking down on the spread of conspiracy theory and other extremist material. QAnon on ballot, 6 GOP endorsed Minnesota candidates back the conspiracy theory. So now they're trying to link anybody who trying to hurt people that are running in the GOP that have actually supported QAnon. And as you know, that all the QAnon people are going to be voting for him. And this is a very direct and serious attack now, right? And so when they're basically saying, as we are in our Twitter, in our Facebooks, be more careful. Let's be a little more clandestine. We can still have the effect of waking people up without having to tout QAnon, and he actually told us to do that, right? The Q team told us to do that. Have you ever witnessed a full-blown international mainstream media constant barrage counterattack regarding a conspiracy? Simple logic answers the question. They are scared to death of this. This is why they are attacking it with all guns a-blazing. They're using their they're controlled politician of Nancy Pelosi now, all the way to 60 Minutes, all the way into front page news on the USA Today and others. So this is now becoming a full-on assault for all of the 6 major companies that control. This is the cabal panicking. They can't have people thinking for themselves. They have to watch Rachel Maddow in order for them to win. All right, or Anderson Cooper, or Don Lemon, or read the New York Post, or read the opinion sections, even in the Wall Street Journal that used to be conservative. Now the cabal has control of that. And Drudge News, they have control over that. So now the cabal is using this, and everybody is starting to wake up to the fake news. And that's our job. This is a window of opportunity we have that I'm going to be talking about a little bit later. That's why we have that STWI program. So STWI.blessedtoteach.com is where you can go see that program. Again, that's a couple $1,000 program only for less than $100 now that we are starting tomorrow. Looking forward to joining you guys in that. That is going to be fun. Okay, that's 4742, by the way. That is the first drop that I think we had on the 23rd. And then here we go to the next one. It just says Crimes Against Humanity Q. All in caps. Crimes Against Humanity. And it looks like I skipped 47, 42, so don't let me do that. Yeah, but I did. So here it is. This one has a tweet from John Solomon. What's the tweet say? Your account's expended, dude. We'll get to that one in a second. It says, breaking, Senate report slams Biden for conflicts of interest, flags possible criminal activity. GOP-led investigation cites evidence of Burisma bribe, suspicious foreign money transfers, and sex trafficking. Just in the news. So here's John Solomon giving a true report of this. And this is his just in the news thing. And he's just telling the truth. And he's got a video here as well as a nice write-up like you will find all the time in his John Solomon's area. And I'll read just a little bit of this. A year-long Senate investigation concluded Wednesday that Hunter Biden's effort to cash in on foreign business deals during the father's, hopefully I can get rid of that, there we go, who father's vice president raised alarm among U.S. government officials who perceived an ethical conflict of interest and flagged concerns about possible criminal activity ranging from bribery to sex trafficking. The long-awaited joint report by the GOP-led Senate Homeland and Governmental Affairs and Senate Finance Committee delivered several blockbuster revelations less than 2 months ago before Election Day, suggesting Obama administration officials ignored clear warning signs about ethical conflicts and possible extortion risk involving Joe Biden's family. Perhaps the most explosive revelation is the U.S. Treasury Department flagged payments collected overseas by Hunter Biden and business partner Devon Archer for possible illicit activities. The so-called suspicious activities reported flagged millions of dollars of transactions from the Ukrainian gas company Burisma Holdings, a Russian oligarch named Yelena Baturina, and Chinese businessmen with ties to Beijing communist government, the report said. Senate investigators have yet to determine if the FBI or others investigated the concerns. The treasury records acquired by the chairman showed potential criminal activity relating to transactions between Hunter Biden, his family, and the associates, the Ukrainian, Russian, Kazakh, and Chinese nationals, the 87-page report disclosed. And it's interesting. It even talks about, oops, the fan's on. Gosh darn it. Thank you guys for telling me that. I got this little cool portable air conditioner that works great, but I don't need it on. I don't want it on my broadcast, so apologize about that. Now I probably have much better sound right now. All right, so that's a John Solomon report. And so we see the attacks on QAnon here, and then we see that Solomon report. And it says political leaders plus family follow with possible ties to sex trafficking. Attacks barrage by media signify what? Sex trafficking, safeguarding women and children, topics that unite all political factions against a common enemy, faith in humanity. Those you are taught to trust the most. Q. And this is a scary statement. This is those you are taught to trust the most. It's not just the MSM. So people trusting Don Lemon or Anderson Cooper or their favorite writer in the New York Times or their favorite writer in the Washington Post or whatever, right? This is also pastors that have been bought off that have four talking points. And obviously the sports athletes and of course the Hollywood. So those you are taught to trust the most is part of this whole control system. That's 4742. 4743, crimes against humanity, Q. 4744 gets into a article, and this says Q. We just post the article. What's the article? A brand new Department of Justice Office of Public Affairs, Wednesday, September 23rd. Look at this was released today. What's it talk about? The Justice Department unveils proposed Section 230 legislation. And so this is the attack on the internet giants that are using all kinds of subsidies and reform and abilities to censor you without being called a publisher, so they can't be sued. Well, that's about to change. Today, on behalf of the President of the Trump administration, the Department of Justice sent draft legislation to Congress to reform Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. The draft legislative text implements reforms that the Department of Justice deemed necessary in its June recommendations and follows a year-long review of the outdated statute. The legislation also executes President Trump's directive from the executive order on preventing online censorship. For too long, Section 230 has provided a shield for online platforms to operate with impunity, says Attorney General William Barr. Ensuring that the internet is safe, but also vibrant, open, and competitive environment is vitally important to America. We therefore urge Congress to make these necessary reforms to Section 230 and begin to hold online platforms accountable both when they unlawfully censor speech and when they knowingly facilitate criminal activity online. And we know this isn't going to happen when we have a Democratic House that's in the pocket of Soros, right? And when Soros is also in control of the tech companies. And so when you have that, and that's when you see this coordinated attack with Nancy Pelosi and the tech platforms as well as the MSM all attacking QAnon. So they have to act like they're attacking Facebook when she's actually there in the pocket. They're just giving them an excuse to go knock accounts off. This is exactly what I believe is going on. That is 4744. If I go to 4745, I see this post from quite a while ago where they showed on the Wiener laptop. The third thing said, Wiener sick, texting 15-year-old sexually explicit. Initial analysis of laptop, thousands of emails. Hillary Clinton Foundation, crime against children. It's reminding us all that's exactly what Fox News even reported on before they really got down to their controlled opposition and started hiring people like Donna Brazile and keeping Hannity and others from bringing certain guests on that they didn't want to have on and forcing them to have people like Juan and the four. You know what I like about the 5 though is I can go watch and get some real analysis and opinions from people like Jesse Waters and Greg Gutfeld and others, right? But then I can also get the 4 a.m. talking points directly from Juan. It's easy. In less than 30 minutes, you can get all the 4 a.m. talking points because he just pounds it. And then it obviously gets nailed by Waters and Gutfeld calling him out on his lies. But that is exactly what we see. And it's exposed those 4 a.m. talking points really well. So that's one show I do watch on Fox every once in a while. They have very limited time, so usually I'm just using Q as well as you know, vote.co, VOAT.co, and a lot of Twitter with those 60 people, red-pilled Christian patriots I talk about. All right, here is 4746, says, let the truth be told. Political spying, illegal, less than 1%. Have faith in humanity, Q. So there is political spying going on, but it's really this 1% that's controlled by the cabal. Is I think what they're talking about here. I think there's a lot more control about that. But I think if you just look at the fact that you look at all the governments and local, state, etc., that this spying operation of the hammer, which basically really got bad when you had Obama weaponize all parts of the hammer and started spying on everybody and their dog. But it's interesting that it says less than 1%. I think it's saying, hey, have faith in humanity in general. This is not normal. This is the cabal evil plan to destroy America from within, infiltration and not invasion, right? Here we move to 4747, and this is an Anon post. And a Anon post talks, reposted 3837. Q basically reposts it and says, bigger than you can imagine. In all caps letters, was basically reiterating what this post said, and they have highlighted what the Anon highlighted against crimes against humanity. And so this says bigger than you can imagine. It talks about a lot of things, but you can see this is highlighting crimes against humanity, what the Anon says. And what does the emphasis say for Q right now? It says bigger than you can imagine. And I'll read the whole post because this is kind of real interesting. This is back on February of 2020. 3837 says bigger than you can imagine, more than selling of state secrets, more than selling of U.S. security, more than selling of military technology, more than selling of C_A assets, more than the selling of the NSA bulk data collection programs, more than selling of uranium, more than selling of U.S. space national security program and positions, more than selling of U.S. aid, more than selling of SAPs. That's a big one right there, right? Because that's our special access programs. Classified 1 through 99. Crimes against humanity. When you cannot defeat the United States of America by attacking head on, you change tactics and deploy a kill from within internal operation. Financial economy, military police, division of citizenry, border collapse, install like-minded leaders in key positions of U.S. government. How many people removed from the FBI had Iranian family backgrounds? The silent war continues. Q. Interesting stuff. Bigger than you can imagine. That's 4747. If I move to 4748, you see A New York Post article. It says, no media coverage? Why? So here's the New York Post. Senator report links Hunter Biden to prostitution or human trafficking. So this is another review similar to what Solomon was reporting on. But hardly anybody's... The New York Times doesn't have anything about this, except when they're trying to dispel it. Where is it? Where is it all? Q's asking, right? So this gets into exactly what we had talked about earlier. Hunter Biden allegedly sent thousands of dollars to people who appeared to be involved in the sex industry, according to Wednesday's report released by Senate Republicans. The report claims unspecified records show that Biden had sent funds to non-resident alien women in the United States who are citizens of Russia and Ukraine. So who was really working with the Russians? We know it was the dossier from Christopher Steele that Hillary Clinton and the DNC paid for, that were working with Russian sources. And then also we see here Hunter paying off citizens of Russia and Ukraine, and who have subsequently wired funds they have received from Hunter Biden to individuals located in Russia and Ukraine. The records also note that some of these transactions are linked to what appears to be Eastern European prostitution or human trafficking ring. The allegations are contained in a footnote to a section of the report that details potential criminal concern and extortion threats involving Hunter Biden and other members of the Biden family. The report also cites extensive public reporting concerning Hunter Biden's alleged involvement with prostitution services. Records on file with a committee do not directly confirm or refute these individual reports, the reports say. However, they do confirm that Hunter Biden sent thousands of dollars to individuals who have been either, 1, been involved in the transaction consistent with possible human trafficking, 2, in association with the adult entertainment industry, or 3, potential association with prostitution. Yeah, there you go, Hunter. Interesting things there, but Q's making a point of what? Why no media coverage? Why? The same people who control the media are the same people who are part of the evil and corrupt system of control. Crimes against humanity. You are not meant to think for yourself. You are not meant to challenge their power, control. Obey and accept. Illusion of democracy. Illusion of freedom. Why does the media push division? Why does the media incite violence? Why does the media pit race versus race? Why does the media pit religion versus religion? Why does the media pit sex versus sex? Why does the media pit class versus class? Divided, you are weak. Divided, you fight each other. Divided, you pose no threat to their system of control. Unity is strength. Unity is power. Unity is humanity. Controlled media plays a major role in shaping the narratives to keep you powerless, helpless, and asleep, unaware of truth. Enemy of the people. Enemy of humanity. Q. There's a new meme for you right there. Hashtag enemy of humanity. That's exactly what we're saying. Wow. I think I did talk about this this meme that came from Ben Garrison. Right here it says, here's an MSM talking, said, don't mention the 800-pound Soros in the room. And here is Soros, this big, huge gorilla Soros with a big necktie with $1 on it, as he gives money to all to give all those attorney generals that won't press charges against these things. It's just crazy. Hey, Connie, good to see you. Let's see here. That was 47.48. Now go to 47.49. Everyone has a choice to make. What's he talking about? Everyone has a choice to make. Well, this is a CBS actual CBS This Morning. There you go. Mockingbird Media itself. And you see followers of the conspiracy group QAnon could have a significant influence in the 2020 election. Tonight's episode of 60 Minutes at Quibi's 60s in 6 gives an inside look at the group. So the 6-minute cut that they actually interviewed Dustin Nemos. Correspondent at Laura Siegel spoke with leaders in the movement and joins us more on her reporting. So here she is on this little 6-minute clip, right, talking about QAnon, about how horrible it is. But what's interesting is they interviewed Dustin Nemos here. So let's play a little bit about this right here.
Considers himself a seeker of truth in a fake news world.
COVID is the biggest lie fake news has ever told.
How can you say that when you look at the numbers?
Well, I don't trust the numbers, first of all. In New York, they supposedly had hashtag warzone hospitals. I had friends and audience members going out there with their cell phones saying it's a ghost town. No one's here.
You're talking to someone who is in New York. You're talking to a crew of folks who experienced a lot of this firsthand.
Well, why were the hospitals empty when these people went there?
You saw it on YouTube. We saw it in real life.
We saw it from you. We heard your version. No offense. We don't trust you guys.
As someone who was in New York City in the height of COVID,
Yes.
who had friends in the hospital, I can tell you it just as simply isn't true.
We had whistleblower nurses who went into this and exposed what was happening. Hospitals were actually monetized and incentivized to lie about COVID patients.
What evidence do you have besides online speculation?
There's months now of documented evidence for this.
What kind?
Various articles. The Gateway Pundit and Zero Hedge has
Where?
put out many
What
of them.
kind of article?
Nemos News Network, if you want to go
That's your
search
network.
Absolutely. I've been covering this since the beginning, so I've covered every bit of it.
There you go. So, oh wow, you can't trust Nemo News Network or the Gateway Pundit or any of those articles. You have to believe the controlled Mockingbird media, of course. So this is a full attack on Destin Nemos, and Destin is a friend. It's interesting to see him take on and get this. So good for him, as I think he represented us well there, talking about the truth about some things. But then this continues to talk to other QAnon people, and this is a full attack piece. But so this is showing the MSM direct attack, just like they're attacking Trump with lies. Now they're attacking QAnon with lies in a much more direct fashion, with front page reporting, with obviously 60 Minutes, and now you've got premier areas like, this is the 60 Minutes, 60 and 6, right, that we're seeing that are being completely trying to lie to we the people. They are enemies of humanity. They are protectors of pedophiles. And that's what's really interesting. So it says everyone has a choice to make. And it's talking about all these people involved. If you're involved in fake news media, you've got to get out of there. Because you have a choice to make. This is becoming crystal clear that this is evil versus righteousness. This is right versus wrong. And everyone has a choice to make against all enemies, foreign, domestic. Q. So the enemies are Hollywood. And all those actors in there that are completely controlled. It's academia, all the professors poisoning our kids with false teachings. It's the MSM, the fake news media. It's all the politicians that are completely controlled, including the Never Trumpers. And everyone has a choice to make because the house is coming down. That's 47-49. Moving to 47-50. It says, who controls willed significant influence regarding the Clinton Democratic Party? Well, here's 2 WikiLeaks showing that it's the 800-pound gorilla we're talking about here. Hillary Clinton email archive on WikiLeaks. So we get things that they didn't want out, but this was from Lona Balmaro and to Hillary Clinton, right? Talking about a schedule. And it basically says, and you can see here in more detail, it's down here. It talks about now it's from Balmore to Huma Abedin. Huma Abedin is obviously the infiltrator of the Muslim Brotherhood, where her mom and dad are heavily involved in that, and was actually the right-hand man or woman to Hillary. And what do they say? Is they say yes on SORS. They also talk about a Jeff guy that they're talking about that might be it, but the big thing is yes on what was that? What was it? Well, if you go back in time, you're going to see Hillary herself. This is from H, and you'll notice it is on the ClintonEmail.com, which breaks all the laws you can imagine, because that server in the closet type thing allowed China and other countries to get to her emails, because it wasn't a secure federal system. And H was Hillary, HDR22 at ClintonEmail.com, right there. And you'll see, what do they say? I would like to see George Soros, who may have asked for an appointment. So Q's just asking who controls, willed, significant influence regarding the Democratic Party? Well, the answer there is Soros, the 800-pound gorilla. Then here's another one, Hillary Clinton to Jake Sullivan. Unrest in Alabama. And if you go back to the bottom of this, you're going to see a huge note from George Soros, the 800-pound gorilla. Basically talking about how he wanted, based on this unrest, he wanted these things. I believe 2 things need to be done urgently. So she said, bring the full weight of the international community to bear on Prime Minister Berisha. So you can see he's basically trying to affect foreign policy, talking to Hillary Clinton, who was obviously the Secretary of State at that time. Appointment a senior European official as a mediator. And so George Soros basically given instructions to Hillary, dear Hillary, right? And so you can actually see when this was actually sent, etc. This was Sunday, January 23rd at 2011. Shown back in 2011, Hillary was completely controlled by Mr. 800-pound gorilla. Who controls willed significant influence regarding the Hussein Democratic Party? Here's other links. Okay. Somebody's saying Jamie's saying Amanda Grace has a prophecy in the McFiles earlier. Good, I'll have to go watch that. That'll be fun. Different factions of foreign primary control. And now it's talking about the Hussein. So who's controlling Obama? Well, there's another Clinton email thing, and this happened to be that Huma and H were talking about here. And what was it all about? It's Soros talking all about putting pressure on Obama to be more progressive. George Soros tells progressive donors Obama might not be the best investment. So this is back in 2010, right, where they're basically saying where Obama's trying to threaten Obama's administration to be more progressive. They want to destroy America from within by creating. That's why he spent millions and millions of dollars on getting those attorney generals in that'll allow this chaos and not actually try to enforce the laws like they let Jesse Smollett go for clear crime, right? That was one attorney general. We got another attorney general's not even letting all these rioters out and being without even prosecuting them, and almost all of those were SORS funded items. If I say his full name, that'll put little algorithms on this and pull the video. So we'll see if this video lasts or not. Now that they're coming down on the 17th letter of the alphabet as well. And so, according to multiple sources with knowledge of the remarks, Soros told those in attendance that he is used to fighting and losing battles, but doesn't like to lose one without fighting. And it goes on and basically just Soros putting pressure on the Obama administration to be more progressive. Different factions of foreign primary control. Who paid Hussein's Harvard law degree? Who financed Hussein's political life? Who is Prince Alawid bin Talal? That just answered the question. That's what Q sometimes does, because he paid for a Harvard law degree. And so here you have a prince, a corrupt, very corrupt prince out of Saudi Arabia with their corrupt oil, using the corrupt organization, obviously that sets the price of oil, right? OPEC, and then all that money is being used to buy Twitter, buy all these things, and also bring up their maturing candidate with a Harvard law degree and a Hussein political life. Why are Hussein's school records under seal? Competing factions, each with a horse in the race, seeking direct White House control of the U.S. military, plus trillions of overseas transfer of U.S. taxpayer funds, all working together, coordinated infiltration, not invasion. VJHA, this is Valerie Jarrett, the handler for Obama. You got HA, the handler for which is Huma Abedin for Clinton's. What happens to U.S. taxpayer funds transferred overseas under guise of aid, military, climate, etc.? U.S. taxpayers funding the destruction of America. Q. That's exactly what they did. Got Democrats and Republicans on both sides under control. So when we were voting for Al Gore or George Bush, we had two absolute cabal puppets. So it doesn't matter about how many Chads were hanging. All that drama and everything is just to keep us under control. Here is a 4751. It goes into a graphic of the 4 families in 3 generations. It's talking about the Browns, Pelosi's, Newsoms, and Gettys. It has a graphic there, and it says System of Control, Q. So we've seen this before. I'm not sure if Q posted, but I know I've seen this several times before. This, I think it was actually SB2 that posted this. So 4 families, 3 generations. And it shows the Brown. Here you had Pat and Jerry Brown, both governors, right? And then you had Pelosi. You had John Pelosi, and of course Nancy and Paul. Nancy is the House Speaker, and Ron Pelosi, right? And you have also the Newsoms. You had William Newsom, you had Barbara and Teresa and William Jr. Newsom here. And then you had the Gettys, J. Paul, and Gordon. But what's interesting is all the lines between them and what really was happening here. Well, you see, Pat, the governor, approves the Squaw Valley concession for Newman and Pelosi. And John Pelosi partners with Squaw Valley here with the William Newsom. And then what happens is that Pat, the Governor Brown, actually gets money from William Newsom, Dollars to Brown campaign. And then you see down here, you see another line right here where Jerry Brown, the governor, is actually what appoints William Jr. the judge. So hey, they get a judge position out of this. And what does he do? He was a lawyer to the Getty family here, Paul Getty. And then you have William Newsom's informally adopt Gordon. And then as a judge helps change trust law to benefit Gordon. As William Newsom does that, retires administrators of Gordon Trust. And here you see Gavin Newsom helping Billy Getty, Pumpkin Jack business seeded by Getty Trust. So you just have a big, huge game of paying for campaigns, help doing family favors, trying to get trust laws that help each other, and actually getting trust set up, etc. to what? Basically control us all. System of control. Q. That is 4751. Now we move to a really interesting thing. John Solomon posted that article, right? So here we are on 4752, and it shows John Solomon's account. Caution, this account is temporarily restricted. You're seeing this warning because so here you have John Solomon's account being restricted because they don't want people to read that article that he wrote telling the truth. So honest journalism gets squelched by big tech. That's why this is a big game of control. All right. That's 4752. Now we move to 4753, and we see Dopey. This is funny. This is a tweet by Trump all the way back in 2015. All right, December 11, 2015. He says, Dopey Prince Alawid Talal wants to control our U.S. politicians with daddy's money. Can't do it when I get elected. Hashtag Trump 2016. So all that money going to obviously Obama's, as well as all into these big tech companies. So Alawid Talal, thank goodness that was one of the first parts of the plan, is to eliminate the Saudi Arabia link to the Clinton Foundation, as well as all the false FLAGs they were doing constantly. They funded a ton of those, including what happened in Las Vegas. 4754, you got a tweet from Laura Ingraham. I think this is the last one. I'm going to refresh real quick to see if we have anything after 4754. 4754. All right, we're going to catch up here. Here you have the world is waking up. Virus or election. Q. What's he talking about? He's talking about a Laura Ingraham tweet. It's really interesting. It says, President needs to say this every speech. We know at CNN and at MSNBC will not tell you this COVID truth. What's the COVID truth? This is a CDC governor report that says if you are 0 to 19, the U.S. government tasked last week the survival rates if infected. So if you get the virus and you're 0 to 19 years old, you have a 99.997% chance of survival. That's 99.997%. If you're 20 to 49 years old, you have a 99.98% chance of survival. And if you're 50 to 69, that's right, you can be in your 60s, a 99.5% chance of survival. And even if you're 70, you have a 70 plus, 70, 80, 90, your chance of survival is 94.6%. And that's with the 5 governors throwing COVID positive patients into nursing homes. So that is obviously a number that is much higher if it wasn't for that criminality. Didn't see it reported much. So this is not being reported. This is why what Dustin Nemo said was true. COVID is the biggest hoax when it comes to the numbers. They don't talk about the death rates because they've fallen to amazingly low numbers. And it's interesting to see, there was a meme I saw, I don't have it handy, but it had Americans coming off the boat on Normandy, right, on D-Day, coming off the boat, leading to almost sure death to defend their country. And then we have people scared and wearing masks and hiding behind chairs to basically at a 99.5% survival rate. Interesting stuff. This is what a controlled fake news apparatus and the whole cabal controlled narratives across academia, across the sports teams, across Hollywood, and all linking back into the he who controls the media controls the mind, all trying to get us to not think for ourselves so they can lie through their teeth every single day, 24/7 on our television sets. But guess what? The world is waking up. Virus or election? Q. Well, the answer is election. Pandemic to planned riots, release criminals in between, do a mask mandate to hide all the riots. Launch BLM, launch Antifa, and you have chaos trying to control the election. Fake news reporting, creating fear, mask mandate, even though the face diaper actually creates rashes in people now. The employees that are having to wear those all day are not getting the oxygen they need. And how do you fight a virus? You fight it with oxygen. You need to oxygenate your body. That's why hydroxychloroquine is being reported by many doctors as massively effective. That's why when it's over the counter in Africa, because of the malaria over there, that COVID is hardly even exists. Why? Because they're using something that oxygenates their body. Hydrogen peroxide does the same thing. MSM does the same thing. There's all kinds of protocols that eliminates this virus extremely quickly. But the fake news media, the enemy of the people, the enemy of humanity, is trying to hide the truth from you and creating fear. That's why all of this is the cabal's last stand, the cabal freaking out, the cabal's death blossom. And they're freaking out and squirreling all around, and they're trying to create fear. And what's our job as red-pilled Christian patriots? It is to dispel the fear, tell people the truth, and exercise our faith in prayer, fasting, and praying for this country. We appreciate all those countries that are praying for America right now. This is a critical time period, and we'll be praying right back for you guys as we eliminate this cabal from our lands worldwide. And it is going to be exciting to see that, is it not? That's the 99%. Woo! Crazy stuff. All right, let's talk about a couple other things I wanted to get to. I just want to make sure you guys knew. Sharing Truth with Impact. That is, the cart is closing today. So you'll see the link, STWI.blessedteach.com. This is the window of opportunity we have. There's going to be millions of people waking up right now. There's going to be millions of people leaving their religions, as Mark Taylor had predicted, and it's looking like it's clear when they see all the corruption and the child trafficking that's going on within our churches. And they're going to be wanting to know what the relationship with Christ is, right? The God's good news. And so this whole program is exciting to me. It's exciting. And those of you who may be disenfranchised from some of your family members or just want to get really good at a few things. So everybody tells you to have all this massive knowledge and red pill people, boom, 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 throw red pills at them, yeah? I'm telling you, no. Get really good at a few small things so that you can be extremely effective. And that's what this is all about. Get extremely good about bonding and adjusting with your people. Past people that you've been disenfranchised with, plus new people you're meeting, right? And then adjust your approach based on their personality type. That's the bond and adjust module. Then you're going to get into another module, which is going to get into actually how do I get them off of mainstream media. If you don't get them off Don Lemon and Rachel Maddow, it's not going to work. You have to be very good at teaching them how he who controls the media controls the mind, and that they're being controlled. And people don't like to be controlled, right? So if they start understanding that and you get them intrigued by that, they'll start thinking for themselves. You got to get very good at that with documentation behind it. That's why this booklet actually has steps on. It's a 90-page booklet or so, where you will have exact steps about what to take to get really good at certain things. Okay. And then the third module is my favorite, because then we get into how do I establish the reliability of the Bible with the TAP method, textual criticism, archaeology, prophecy, and then also actually getting into the God's good news. That is a major thing that our society needs right now. This is the window of opportunity to let them know the truth, to bond and adjust with them, to actually share red pill information and share the God's good news, as well as the reliability of the Bible, are going to be the key portions that we're going to do in a 3-week class. It only takes about an hour and a half a week. It's for busy people. So join me. We start tomorrow, and the cart closes tonight. So jump to STWI sharing truth with impact. blessed2teach.com. STWI blessed2teach.com, and that's blessed with the number 2 teach.com. There's a link down below in the video, and I just want to show you this video that California girl did. Just an awesome job here. I want to show this one last time. This little video that talks a little bit about this program and why I'm so excited about it, and I want everybody to go at least go consider this. Again, this is a couple $1,000 program. It took me months to do, that we've discounted all the way down under $100 so that the masses can be in this. We really want everybody to take advantage of this course and the community that's with it, because we're going to be working together to learn and share experiences and see what works and what didn't work, and how that we adjust to different policy types. And this group is going to be a bunch of smart people adding to this community. So I'm so excited about it. I can't tell you. It's going to be so fun. Starting tomorrow, and we'll have our first live session. You'll have weekly sessions live with me in group sessions. I'm going to probably do that a couple times a week on each module, right? And so that'll be fun too, is having the live sessions to go with it. But I'm going to go to the displayful, play this one last time. Here it goes.
Says this is mostly a protest.
Hydroxychloroquine is not effective.
We don't get real news.
Double-digit lead for Joe Biden.
We get controlled propaganda and talking points from an evil cabal.
I know nothing about this.
So I decided to fight back and focus on the fake news media by starting this YouTube channel, and I called it Blessed to Teach, to help teach truth versus lies. Here is a little 30-second. So I started learning of the struggles from my subscribers, and I learned they were frustrated in their efforts to actually share the truth. Many felt disrespected. Some felt lonely. Others felt helpless. Do you fall in any of those categories? Everybody else tells you you should just red pill people, give them bits of information all the time, and they will eventually get it, right? And I say, you've got to bond first. I believe those that are being really successful at sharing truth with impact, they first focused on bonding with them. They develop a trust between them. They love them first. We're now launching the Sharing Truth with Impact course and community. You need to practice with your community. You need to learn from other people. The blueprint to this 3-step program. First part is going to be all about bonding and adjusting. The second part is about awakening others. And the third part is about sharing God's good news. That includes the reliability of the Bible, as well as the right God, the right Jesus, and the right gospel. Talk about quite a bit. Now, when I get to the deep state war, you've got to get really good at being able to talk about Operation Mockingbird and make people understand it and have facts to back you up and be able to do it in a concise, clear, quick manner. Knock them off the fake news. Make sure they understand and start thinking for themselves.
And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
My favorite topic is Module 3. And that's where we get into the reliability of the Bible. I have a method called TAP, Textual Criticism, Archaeology, and Prophecy. Very easy thing to understand and be able to explain. We'll teach you that. And I'm now working with many people just like you to move them from frustrated individuals to becoming powerful impactors that are able to awaken others to the truth of this world, to break through the spiritual fog of the society, and to effectively help our children, friends, and family know God. I want you to picture a day when you are confident with sharing truth with anyone. I want you to picture a day when a good friend or family member comes to you and says, "Thank you for sharing truth with me." I want you to picture a day when you have a community of Christian patriots that surround you and make you feel loved and supported. My name is Rick, and I believe that with proper training and practice, you don't need to feel disrespected, lonely, or helpless, but you can be appreciated, connected, and empowered. All right. Very well done by California Girl. Thank you for her great work on that. But you can see I just love this, and it's going to be a great time. Again, being appreciated, connected, and empowered instead of lonely, disrespected, and helpless, right? Some of you only fit in one of those categories. Even if you only fit in one of those categories, this course is for you. Again, you're going to get this shipped to your house and have a 90-page document to go over. You're going to have all those online as well as the audio, the video, and some great teachings. It only takes about an hour and a half a week with live sessions once a week with me. It'll be twice a week, but it'll be different schedules depending on what you want to. And then we will have the community there to support and actually work and actually learn from each other. It's going to be fun. So join me at stwi.blessedteach.com. All right, let's get into some other news that's kind of interesting to wrap up here. There's a lot of news that was real interesting that we learned about as well. Like here is Praying Medic talking about, I hear they have special place picked out for GS, a real special place. And we know who GS is. That's the 800-pound gorilla, right? Here's Lisa Boo saying, we wouldn't be seeing these riots if the media wouldn't intentionally push false narratives. Again, this is enemy of the people. This is enemy of humanity is what we were talking about, right? And this is the best of real accomplishments in just over a minute. Listen about this with the accomplishments in Trump.
Clearly admitted to downplaying a deadly disease. He loves himself more than our country. Really? The only president in decades who hasn't started a new war, the one who will stop and fix a serviceman's hat. He did VA healthcare reform, opportunity zones, prison reform, the Women's Prosperity Initiative, the Hispanic Prosperity Initiative, school choice, HBCU funding, is currently attacking Big Pharma head-on, took down Epstein and has been fighting human trafficking from day one, the guy who's been working day and night renegotiating all the crappy trade deals, including the Iran deal, the guy who hugs and kisses the American flag, the same guy that went from a $3.7 billion net worth to $2.5 billion since he's been in office. He just donated his quarterly salary to fix all the monuments that the crazy left tore down. Something you guys need to remember, if Donald Trump wanted to, he could be sitting on a mega yacht somewhere in French Polynesia with his supermodel Slovakian wife and not having a care in the world about all of this. But no, he decided to give it all up to fight for the American people. And just today, he's furthering peace in the Middle East. The man loves his country.
Isn't that awesome? That's that. Believe it or not, that's that TikTok app that they're using. A lot of people are using that right now. But I think because of the Chinese thing, it's gonna go down. But wow! And here's a whole important thread. I'll go over this at another time. But this was really interesting about why there are so many connections between celebrities and water companies. Some are owners, some are investors, and others just get photographed with the label strategically facing the PAP camera. Is this hashtag watch the water? So this is a whole, I guess, a thread that goes over Watch the Water, and it's pretty interesting. So I'll try to save that for tomorrow night when we go live. We are going to go backstage, so those of you who know that I want to have a little IS at the end of it. There's a bunch of backstagers on right now, and they will be talking. I think we had a ton of people on Gene Unleashed last night. So if you missed that, even if you join now, it's up. The recording's up. It was a 5-hour video of just massive amounts of information, only for those with a massively open mind and understand that that it may challenge some of your thinking now. But that was last night on Gene Unleashed. So you'd go to get to those type of things. What you will do is you go to blessed2teach.com, and blessed2teach.com, as you can see right here, has a menu system. It comes up top if it's a wider screen. If it's a phone, you'll have this little button that will bring up all these things. And on the home screen here that we saw, you can actually sign up for the show notes right here. Just your first name and your email. Boom, you'll get everything I've shown you here in show notes every morning with the video. So you can just play the video and actually see all the show notes right there. That's a really nice feature the team has put together here. And then you also have the ability to go backstage right here. This is where you would actually go backstage. And here you would see Backstage with Blessed to Teach. And you would join here. And it would bring you to this screen where you can still get the 25% off. This price is going to be going up next month, by the way, guys. We just put a lot of money into this. It just launched a whole new course, etc. So join soon. This $14.77. So this is going to go up to a $25 price. Potentially discounted for a little bit, so it's going to be there $25. If the team decides to discount it, it'll be at $19.97. So for limited time, you can get it for the $14.77. If you do a year in advance, it goes down to all the way to $8 a month if you do that. So that's a favorite option for many. I just wanted to show you that. I also wanted to show you. I have a t-shirts here in the store. You have the health here. This is how I became so healthy, and this gives my story, and it gives you links to products I use there. Here's the courses. This is the last day this is open. If you go to that courses, that's going to take you to stwi.blessed2teach.com. This is the video I just played for you guys, and it has again transformed from frustrated, lonely, or helpless to being appreciated, connected, and empowered. Right, and you can join here. It talks a lot about more. There's some testimonials here, some people who've taken similar classes, and a little bit more about me, etc. And again, you can get instead of this $2,000 course that I was selling for $750 for a similar course, I literally had it for $750. We're going all the way down to $97, and the community is being discounted to $977. And by the way, if you're on Backstage, there's some discounts, so go log into Backstage and you'll see discounts. I also send an email to you guys, even discounted more than this because you're already paying for a fee, right? But this Impactor community is going to be a special community STWI course, all right? With that, I'm going to end with going to BibleMemory.com, Bible.memory.com. You can also download that on your app right here. Bible Memory, right? I pay for Pro, it's a very slight fee. It's free though for most people. You can go to groups and go find Blessed to Teach. It's a big long list here, but if you just go Control F and go Blessed, here this time you have to go TO and go to the next. You're going to see right here. All right, there's 87 verses, I think is what that's talking about. I'm not sure what the 87 is there, but this Blessed to Teach is, and you go to the verses right here, Blessed to Teach verses. These are, I guess it's 68 verses or something that I have all that I put in my app to periodically go through, and every 30 days I'm reviewing each one of these. You can set that time as different times, and it lets you reviews them every day with you until you've memorized it, and then it goes to every 30 days, right? But here's my favorite verses, and so there's all kinds of cool stuff here. Like when I'm talking about the true gospel that we want to teach people, there's a lot of false gospels out there, right? And I tell you, the people were especially Paul and Galatians was really, really serious about making sure that you had the right gospel. Like if Galatians 1:8 is a good example. It says, "But even if we or an angel from heaven should preach a gospel other than the one we preach to you, let them be under God's curse." Galatians 1:8. So that's a pretty big statement, right? You want you want to make sure that you have the right gospel. The right gospel is the narrow path. The right gospel is 100% Jesus, 0% you. It's faith. It's all what Ephesians 2:8 and 9 talks about, right? You are saved through faith. Saved by grace through faith. It's important to understand that. And then after that, you're going to change. Your heart's going to change. You're going to have the Holy Spirit in you. And then you will be able to do good works that aren't as filthy rags. Before we become saved, our works are as filthy rags. But once we're saved, our works become service to God, the one true God, right? Now, this program's cool because I can say memorize it, and it gives me every other word. I click it again, it goes every other word on the even or odd, and then I can go to master it. But if I go to master it, I have to go, oh my goodness, okay, and then I have to type the first letter of each word. And I say, but even if we or an angel of, I'm hitting the first letter. You can say I just made a mistake. Oh, now I'm down to 87%. But even if we or an angel from heaven should preach a gospel other than the one we preached to you. So I sent the first letter. Now I'm up to 95%. If I'm over 90%, it says, yeah, you're done. If I'm below 90%, so I just get you. This is a great little way. And you can do this on your phone, right? See, to preach a gospel other than the one we preached to you, let them be under God's curse. And it's Galatians 1:8. So you can see I had 93% accuracy. So great job. I passed the 90% rule, right? You can flip that different if you want to, but it says you just got out of your first try, and it gave me 6 points. So this literally gives me points. So like I have 35,309 points. You can tell I've been doing this for a long time with 9 badges, and I'm at level 48. With the 35,000 points. I just got 6 new points, right? So it's a kind of a neat way of gamifying and learning how to get God's word in your heart. So I just love this little program called BibleMemory.com. I'm not advertising it because it's not a sponsor or anything. It's just something I personally use. But let's go ahead and pray about Galatians 1:8 and this whole movement of the 800-pound gorilla. Heavenly Father, just thank you so much for exposing the 800-pound gorilla, for exposing where the evil's actually coming from. The head of the snake, and he's even a puppet, though above them we know we have the 13 family lines and evil beyond measure. And Lord, you were exposing that like never before, and thank you. And thank you for giving us the gospel that we can know that truth. And Galatians 1:8 shows how important it is that we only have the one gospel versus all the fake gospels. Satan wants to confuse us and put all kinds of ramifications here and say that you have to work your way to heaven, which is an absolute lie from Satan. It is completely clear that it is by grace, through faith you are saved. It's not of yourself. It's a gift of God. So nobody can boast. That's the main thing that this is all about, Lord. And we just pray and thank you that you even tell us that there should be no other gospel. And even if an angel preaches a different gospel, or even the apostles came back to life somehow and preached a different gospel, let them be under God's curse. Why? Because it's a false gospel that will not lead to eternal life. Let us understand eternal life, follow the narrow path, which is Jesus' death on the cross as a substitutional power for our sins. Thank you for that truth, Lord. And we just love you. Thank you for exposing this. Use us in a mighty way for your kingdom. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Join me backstage if you have a pass. And we'll see you there in a second. And we're looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Make sure you go to stwi.blessedteach.com. The course opens tomorrow. And we will all start it together on Module 1 on Bond and Adjust. Going to be a great time. Talk to you later. You've just listened to the Blessed Teach Show. You're now empowered with the truth. Don't miss the edited short B2T clips on a new channel called B2T Clips. A big thank you to all the supporters on Patreon and PayPal. You are truly appreciated. For the links to these sites, as well as links for show notes, Backstage with Blessed Teach, training courses, and more, visit blessedtoteach.com. That's blessed with the number 2, teach.com. God bless, and be sure to go empower others with the truth.